Hi everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our paper, Reliance on AI Tools and Fostering Creativity Among Sri Lankan ESL Learners. Special focus to ChatGPT. So I'm Kamani Samarasinghe, attached to the Department of Information Technology, University of Visual and Performing Art. My colleague Prasangani, attached to the Department of English Language Teaching, Sabaragamu University of Sri Lanka. So let me present our presentation. So let's briefly talk about the introduction. So as all of you know, artificial intelligence has created a new opportunities for engagement and creativity in teaching and learning. So at present, educators can use various AI tools for tasks related to teaching and learning. So OpenAI in 2022 claimed that ChatGPT is an AI chatbot that was released to the public in November 2022. So again, it is a relatively new AI tool. The report said an average of about 13 unique visitors used ChatGPT per day in January, an increase of more than twice the level of December, making it the fastest growing consumer application in the history. So furthermore, OpenAI 2022 stated that ChatGPT was developed based on the GPT, that is Generative Pre-trained Transformer architecture. So it is designed to understand natural language and generate human-like responses to text-based communication. So ChatGPT is trained on a massive data set of text, enabling it to generate coherent and contextual relevant response to wide range of responses and questions. So users interact with ChatGPT app by asking questions and receiving their responses. So ChatGPT is designed to facilitate interaction centered on questions and follow-up. So this type of interaction, the use of ChatGPT for learning by asking questions, reflecting on the answers, both which are essential for activities in interactive learning. Let me talk about the literature related to this research. Prospicillus in 2023 stated that since Socrates' teaching, asking question has been used as a method of interactive learning. The opportunities of ChatGPT as a second language learning tool were described by the Kim et al. In 2023. So they stated that ChatGPT responds quickly, allowing for effective learning, facilitation for a positive learning environment. According to Josu et al. In 2023, while AI-powered writing tools like ChatGPT are extremely powerful in text writing, so they fall far short of human writers when it comes to writing advanced interference technique like deep cohesion. Nigi et al. In 2019 tested whether the AI chatbot is effective and useful for enhancing student performance and engagement in learning a specific point of foreign language. So their results indicated that the students benefit a lot from a new learning experience with the use of AI chatbot in teaching, and that is an important part of their learning process. The AI chatbot also makes learning exciting and enjoyable for students. Beda Medina and Clavo Ferrer in 2023 analyzed knowledge, level of satisfaction, and perception concerning the integration of conventional AI in language teaching. The authors yield positive results regarding the perceptions and concerning the integration of conservational agent in language teaching, particularly in relation to the perceived ease of use in attitudes. Tilly et al. In 23 investigated the concern that about using ChatGPT in education among clearly adopters using ChatGPT. The authors finally revealed that while ChatGPT is a powerful educational tool, it should be used with the greater caution, and more guidelines on how to use it safely in education should be established. And Kuzem et al. In 2023 investigate the effects of ChatGPT and chatbot use on learning English for a specific purpose, especially vocabulary online classrooms. So, by considering this, ChatGPT is a powerful educational tool and it should be used with the greater caution and more guidelines and how to use safely in education should be established. So, let me go to the next slide.
Hi everyone, I'm Prasangani and I'm attached to the Department of English Language Teaching. I'm going to continue with the rest of the presentation. Um, let's move to the objective and the research questions of the study. So in our study, the major research objective was to understand the Sri Lankan ESL learners' nature of using AI tool ChatGPT to improve their English proficiency. To achieve this research objective, we have formed two research questions. The first one was, how do Sri Lankan ESL learners use ChatGPT in their English learning? And the second one was, what are the perceptions of Sri Lankan ESL learners about using AI tools for their English learning? Because we wanted to know how Sri Lankan learners just use ChatGPT and also what are their attitudes on ChatGPT, because since it is a newly introduced AI tool, so we just wanted to know whether Sri Lankan ESL learners also do have some kind of understanding about that tool and whether they do use that tool to improve their English language. So there we have used a quantitative research method, and we have just used questionnaire to collect data from 95 ESL students, and we have collected data 2023 in May, and we have collected data by using a Google form just to check how they do use ChatGPT and what are their experiences and what are their attitudes on ChatGPT. And in our questionnaire, there were 25 close-ended questions, and we have included open-ended question at the end just to get some kind of comments of the learners about using of the ChatGPT. And we have analyzed the data by using descriptive analysis. So we will move to the results of the study. First, we will just focus on our sample. Our sample was consisted with 21% of the males and 79% of the females. And 86% of the participants were between 20 to 25 years. So that means they are very young. And they were belong to the diploma and degree level studies. So we can just summarize that our participants were very young and they are above diploma level. So at the very beginning, we just wanted to check the awareness of the AI tool ChatGPT of our learners. Interestingly, we have found that the majority of the participants, or 61% of the participants, were aware about ChatGPT and they do use ChatGPT for their language learning purposes. And then later we have analyzed how they do use ChatGPT in their English language learning purposes. They are interestingly, we have found that 58% of the students do use ChatGPT for their chatting purposes. That means that so they do interactively engage with ChatGPT just to chat, and so that means that so then they do have to chat by using English, and then even they do get responses in English, and it is kind of help for them to just improve their English language proficiency. And also, interestingly, so the 50% of the participants do use ChatGPT to ask definitions, get synonyms, and examples of words. So that again shows they are very interested on just to improve their writing and just to improve their English by using ChatGPT. In addition to that, 47% of the participants do use ChatGPT to check their grammar. So that shows their interest on just to improve their writing by using ChatGPT, because they can just check their grammar within a few seconds by using ChatGPT. Otherwise, so then they have to go to other teachers, and then it will take some time. So they have just selected ChatGPT as an interactive tool just to get quick responses about their language in their writings. And also, once we just go through the findings, it's really interesting. 47% of the students do use ChatGPT for quick references. So that means, so then once they do want to find something quickly, so then they just use ChatGPT to find it. So it shows that, so they are very keen on the tool, and then they know that they can find a lot of information in relation to their studies by using ChatGPT. And also, 45% of our participants do use ChatGPT as their homework assistants. So, in Sri Lankan context, Sri Lankan ESL learners, so most of the learners, so that they don't have exposure or English learning supportive background at home. So because of that, so they need somebody else to just support in their homework. So interestingly, they have selected ChatGPT to get that support once they are at home. So it shows that, so they are very keen in using ChatGPT in their learning process. So we will move to the qualitative findings. So I just mentioned at the very beginning of my presentation, we have included the last question as the open-ended question. And there we have just received certain comments of the students about how they do use ChatGPT for their language learning purposes. And we have analyzed the comments by using qualitative content analysis. And there we have categorized the comments based on two themes: advantages and disadvantages. So there we have identified that the students or the participants, they have identified both the advantages and the disadvantages of the tool. And so they just use ChatGPT because it's a very attractive and handy tool. And also they have identified that it is very important and valuable for their educational purposes. And also it is very interesting, the participants, they have understood that uh, ChatGPT has the disadvantages side and the weakness, because it is a kind of a tool, can harm their creativity and self-learning skills. So they have understood that they have to use it carefully for their educational purposes. And then and also they understood that, so they should be very cautious once they do use ChatGPT, because so it will be harmful for their creativity and self-learning skills. Yes, so we will move to the conclusion of the study. So based on the findings of this study, we can just finalize that Sri Lankan learners are not highly about ChatGPT, but in our study, more than 60% of the students are aware about ChatGPT. And also, students understood that, so they have to use ChatGPT while safeguarding their creativity, because they have understood that, so human creativity is very important than the artificial intelligence. And also these findings interpreted with very caution, because we have selected a limited sample. So it's good, the future studies focus on mixed method with a large sample size to enhance the reliability of the findings. And so it will provide a comprehensive understanding of Sri Lankan ESL learners. These are the key references of our study. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.